Hello Unity fans, this video is a kind of mix between update announcement and tutorial for my low poly game kit. I implemented a damage handler for the player and I will show you how I did this. When the player hits the damage source, which is in this case the fire, he's taken damage. But for this particular damage source, the behavior is not realistic because you will take damage as long as you stand inside of the fire. So I added a few options here in the damage source, and one is repeating a bool flag, and when you check it, you can see that when the player is standing inside of the fire, he's continuously taken damage. Okay, now let's have a look at the C# scripts to see how this is actually implemented. Let's start with the player script, the player controller. I added the healthbar component as member variable, and the healthbar is a child of the HUD. The HUD is already assigned to the player, you can see it here, it's a public member, and in the start method I get the healthbar component from the HUD. I need the healthbar component to display the health of the player when he's taken damage. It will be updated and it has a minimum and a maximum. The maximum I initialize to the current health, which is also a public member variable of the player. Let's initialize this to 100 as a default value. Then there's a method called takeDamage, which is called by the damage source script. It has an amount as parameter, which is subtracted from the current health, and if this health is less than 0, I set it to 0. After that, I call the setHealth method of the healthbar. Okay, very simple, right? Now let's see what the damage source script does. It has a private member here which indicates if the source is currently damaging, and a few public members for the damage repeating rate, for the damage amount, and if the damage should be applied repeatedly. The damage source script is assigned to the fire, we can see this here in the editor, and it has a box collider attached which is set to isTrigger, and this is important because we implemented the methods onTriggerEnter and onTriggerExit. In the onTriggerEnter method I check if the collider is the player controller, and if this is the case I know that I have to call takeDamage for the player. But first I check if the repeating flag is set to true. If it is true, I start a coroutine for a method called takeDamage. And this method calls itself, it is a recursive call, as long as the isCausingDamage is set to true, and we set it to true in the onTriggerEnter. This method calls player takeDamage of the player repeatedly with a repeat rate that we pass as parameter. So this is the logic when the repeating flag is set to true, and if not, I just call takeDamage for the player one time. Okay, but now for the onTriggerExit. Here I also check if the collider is the player controller, and I just set the isCausingDamage to false, which will stop the recursive call if the repeating flag is set to true. I check this here and start the game, and we can see this in action. The health of the player is set to 500, then it will take a bit longer till the health points are exceeded. If you like, you can play around now with the values of a particular damage source. For example, increase the amount or repeat rate. Alright guys, in the next part I will add a death animation and a game management component. You can download the game kit from the asset store. It is for free and I want to keep it available for free, so please think about supporting me on my Patreon in return to help this channel and the game kit grow. Thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and come back soon to JNM.